And so this is how it played out on earth in history. But it's telling the story now from a different perspective, which helps us to see that what is taking place in David's life was more than just earthly warfare and sufferings. It helps us to see that behind all the happenings of this life, there is a great cosmic battle between heaven and hell. And it aids us in remembering that spiritual warfare is going on all around us, and that God is the victor, and he will deliver all who are his. And so when David tells us about his experiences from the heavenly perspective, he uses events from different theophanies of God to tell that story. He takes scenes from the Exodus, from Mount Sinai, and battles from the days of Joshua and the Judges to describe how God appeared in coming to save him. But as he tells this story, we should not fail to see how they are explicitly telling us the story of Jesus Christ. It's foreshadowing. David was speaking of this heavenly perspective, and in doing so, he's foreshadowing what Christ would come to accomplish. Think of the circumstances surrounding Christ's death. As Judas betrayed him, the snare of death entangled him, and he was in great distress, which is so clearly shown in the Garden of Gethsemane. King David called on the Lord to deliver him, and so too did Christ cry out in prayer to the Lord to deliver him. Judas had set a trap for him, which led to his arrest and to his wrongful convictions, and death encompassed him. It pulled him down into Sheol, the grave. As we confess in the Apostles' Creed, he descended into hell. Now, beloved, God ordained for Christ to suffer for the sins of the elect. But we believe not only in predestination, but also in man's responsibility. And I say this because although God predestined the death of his Son, he was nevertheless angry at those whose hands put his Son to death. At that time, the earth reeled and rocked. The foundations also of the mountains trembled and quaked because he was angry. Psalm 18:7. As we discussed this morning, at the death of Christ, the earth shook and the rocks split. Just as Psalm 18 speaks of God making darkness his covering, so darkness filled the earth during Christ's suffering on the cross, from hours 6 to 9. Yet God heard Jesus' cry for deliverance. Hebrews 5:7. I think I've used this verse in almost every psalm along the way. But it speaks of Jesus crying out to him who was able to save him from death. And he was heard because of his reverence.